another video. This will be the last video in our series, and in which we will learn about how to set up a CI/CD pipeline with Jenkins, which we will use this tool, and this is mainly for the continuous integration and continuous delivery, and it gives us a lot of plugins that we can use, so it makes the life of a developer the product is in the development phase a lot easier. So it works something like this. Here's what I'm gonna use it for. So let me open up my GitHub. This is the GitHub page, and last time we were working on our MERN-stack Heroku application, right? And in the previous video we implemented the tests, so in which we tested the Heroku. We tested with Mocha and Chai. So let's see how that project is running. So let's test it. I think this is the one, yarn test. Okay, connected to database and everything is working. So the tests are working, and as well as the application itself is working. So the application is made in React, is as a React application, and we're using Node Express as a API server. So you can follow along by watching the previous videos, and I'll leave the link in the description as well as at the top as a recommendation. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, to run Jenkins, you will need to create an AWS account. So let's get that. So I already have one, and we won't be charged for doing this because we're not using any services that are not free already. Okay, that's just rubbish. Okay, AE5W. Okay, and I'll quickly enter my password. Okay, so in the AWS, the tools we'll be using here, so we'll be using E2C instances, and today we'll first need to launch a few instances. Let's do that. We are gonna be using Ubuntu 18.4. You can also use 20, totally depends on you. I have used this one before, so I'm gonna stick with it. So that's the first step, create, and we are gonna be using the free tier instances. We are gonna be needing 3 instances. What else? Network, auto assign. I'm not sure. I think that's it. So let's review and launch. So we will configure the security groups. I'm gonna use a testing one, which is to open all ports and all traffic. So if you were doing it, you would use your production and other IP addresses, and you'll open the network only to those. Okay, let me check something else. I think this is it, and if there are any problems, we'll fix them together. Okay, so while I was doing this project, I think I had come across, yeah, here. So I've already got the files. Okay, I think there's another one called Jenkins. Here, I've got the Jenkins perm file already, and that's the one I'm gonna use it to log, but you can create a new one if you need, and you can save it in your local directory so that whenever you're using it, you don't lose it. So this will only be available once, so be careful. Okay, launch the instances. Okay, and let's check it out. Replaced by a new instance will be okay. That's cool. So as you can see, the current states are still pending, and once they're all initiated and ready, we will. Okay, 2 of them are running already, 3 of them are running. So first let's give them a name. So this one will be Jenkins server. This one is gonna be staging server, and this one is gonna be our production server. Okay, now once they have the name and they are running, we can check out at the bottom. We'll get the public IP addresses. These are the IP addresses we'll be using to connect to these instances. So just an overview in CI/CD with Jenkins. Here's what we'll be doing. So once we get the commit from GitHub, right, this server will listen to the GitHub commit. Once it receives it, then it'll run a pipeline in which it'll build, test, and deploy the new code to the production server. So first it'll start on the staging server where it'll test and all that, and then it'll push the code to the production server. So that's what we are gonna do for now. Okay, that's the goal. So let's start by first go connecting to this. So to connect, we can use another tool called Putty. So this, for Windows, you'll just get the GUI here, but for easiness, we also have something here. Just click here and click on connect, and you can copy this as you can see here. Oh, it's hard to copy. Okay, another thing you need to do is the jenkins.perm to reinstall. Okay, first is you need to change directory into the downloads wherever you have the file, and then you'll do so this will be like the change the ownership, that you can edit this file and all that. And the last thing, you can just copy this and paste it here. While it's taking its time to do that, we'll change its color. Let's change it to since it's the server, we'll set it to green. Okay, and yeah, that's it. We'll set it to red. Tab title will be Jenkins. Profile will be this is a cool one. Okay, cool. Oopsies, I seems to have made a mistake. Okay, here I think I messed up the inbound rules. As you can see, the destination, the source seems to be different and it seems to be preset. Let's change that to anywhere and save, and that should be it. Okay, let's recheck. And yeah, okay, now it seems fine. Let's check the terminal again. Okay, seems like we're connected. Let's recheck in the browser, and still okay. Let's retry. Okay, still seems to be having problems. I'm sure it's problems with the the inbound rules. It says don't know what's the problem. Okay, let me fix it and I'll come back. Finally, I've done it. So the command was actually pretty simple. I just had to add the username in front, and in the AWS settings I just opened my own IP address in both inbound and outbound rules, and it just worked. Well, that's that. So let's get started again. So this is the Jenkins server. So I do have a documentation and a cheat sheet available. So I forgot. Okay, so the first step in here is to first do the update. So let's do that, and this might take a while depending on the system and all that. So once everything's done, let's install the JDK, Java Development Kit. Yes, I want to install it. So while this is installing, it might take a while. As you can see, we can start setting up stuff in our other devices, such as the staging. So click on staging, click connect, copy this, open a new terminal, cd to downloads, loads, and hit that. Yes. Okay, that's that. So in the production staging side, so let's make it a different color. Let's use red for our staging. So in our staging, we will use the following commands. It's gonna be the same. So we will need to install Java JDK on all of the machines, but we'll only need to install the Jenkins server on the Jenkins machine, and we'll do some setup over in the slave machines as well. Okay, I can feel like this is gonna be a long video. Okay, since that's done, I'll next install this over here as well. Capital Y, and I'll do the same with the production server. Okay, let's copy this, open a new tab, select a profile, ocean, that's fine. So this is the staging, this is the production, and this is the okay. CD downloads, connect. Yes. Okay, that's done. So let's do update over here, and let's download that over here. Okay, so I have downloaded Java Development Kit on all of them. The next thing you'll need to download is the Jenkins server. So to do that, you can either follow this. So if this works, so that's the first step. Let's try that. It said okay. second step, let's try that. Seems like okay. Third, and the last. Okay, so seems like this works. So in case this doesn't work and it says invalid key and all that, you can just Google like install Jenkins on Ubuntu, and the version of the server you're using, you could be using 20 or 18.0.404. so you can just check out these different websites, like maybe check out this one, and you'll get a different key for you to add, and if everything works, it'll start adding. Okay, so once everything's working, so I'll pause the video so that all of this is done. Done installing Java everywhere, and we installed Jenkins in our Jenkins server. The next step would be to start the server. So you can either follow this one, so it says sudo system call start, so that, and we don't know what's going on, so we'll check the status here, and it says that it's working, so it started at boot time, so that means it's working. So to connect to that Jenkins server, you first need to go to the server here, get its public IP address, so here, open it somewhere and use the port, I think 8080. Is it 8080? So if it works, that means it's correct. Okay, it is correct. So it'll ask you how a password, and you can get the password by like using this sudo cat, and you can just copy this command over here, place it over here, and this will give you a password. You copy this password, place it inside Jenkins, and just click enter. Yeah, don't save it. And I would suggest you can use your own plugins, but for now let's install the select suggested plugins, and it'll do its thing where it'll go and install everything and get everything set up. So right now we do need some kind of tool, so I'm gonna use FileZar, so we will do that. I think this will be the tool we'll be using to connect to like transfer files. So let's just check the settings and check the connections, file transfer, FTP here. So if you download this tool called FileZar, you'll have to come to SFTP, and here you'll need to add your Jenkins perm file. So if it's from me, it's already loaded, so here, in case you haven't downloaded that, and the host will be the IP address, and the username will probably be Ubuntu. Ubuntu. Okay, so I'll pause it again, and once this is complete, once it's done, you will see the create user page. Here you can just create your own one, so I'll set it to cheat code. Password will be code code 1 2 3 JETCODE 1 2 3. Full name, I'll just send it to my name and my Gmail. and let's save and continue. So it shows us our Jenkins URL. We can just set it to that. Let's start using Jenkins. And once you have done the Jenkins, you'll see this kind of like a dashboard. And the first thing you'll want to do is go to manage Jenkins, and I think it's configure global settings. Right, yeah, it's for the agents part. I'm gonna change it to random, and that's it. So let's save. Okay, next thing that I want you to do is to go and check the nodes. So here you can click on manage nodes, and there is only one node there, and it's referring to itself. So as you can see that it is response time, it's connected and all that. So what we'll do, we'll need to add a new node, and we'll call it staging node. Add it as a permanent agent, and this remote root directory, we'll need to set it as same in every case. So I'm setting it to home/ubuntu/jenkins, and let's see what else. Okay, that's it. Save it, and we'll create another node. Let's name it, let's call it copy existing from staging. Okay, I'll call it production, and let's save again. So here, when you go back to the list, you'll see two more. So you'll see the staging and a production. So this both are also the staging and the production. So let's try, because you'll need to follow these steps. So you'll need to like run a file that we'll need to download from here, to send that file to the servers and all that. So we'll need to do some file transfer protocol here. So let's get the username here for our staging. Thank you. Okay, so that's that, and we are connected to Ubuntu. So this is, I think, the staging's password. So we'll go to the Jenkins, go to the staging, you'll download this file. Let's keep that file. So these two files, so Jenkins agent, and so let's show them all in the Finder. So this one and this one. So we'll drag that, both of them, to the root, and you can see them here. And I think this one was the staging, so let's try that. S. Okay, the connection is disconnected. Okay, and when I click ls, you can see both of these files are present. Okay, and we can continue on following the commands. So it says here, so let's copy this one and paste it. And it's connected. so we don't need to do with that anymore. So when we go back, you can see the staging is now connected. Now let's do the same things with the production. Let's close this, select the production, copy the IP address, paste the IP address here, and we are done. Go to Jenkins, go to production, delete the previous files, so both of them let's delete, and let's download the new files, keep both of them, this one and this one, and do the same. We'll drag it there, and now let's here, and you can see the command. We'll run this one, copy all of it, and it should be connected. So we are done with that as well. And here you can check at the Jenkins server that all of these are in fact connected. So this right here is the connection part, and after this I'll show you how to like build your pipeline. I'm done with the dashboard, and let's start with the first thing. We'll create a new job. Let's call it a Git job. Okay, I've done it before, and you can have multiple styles of projects or job. So it can be pipeline, a multi-figure pipeline, a multi-branch pipeline. So the most simple one I prefer is the freestyle project, so it gives us more options. So I will choose that, click OK. And since I already have a project that I want to use to like host on the Jenkins part, so we'll do this. Let's call it the Git job tools project from GitHub. Okay, so let's call it the GitHub project. Actually, let's not choose it, we'll choose it Git, and here we'll get the Git project URL here. No, wait, we're still working. Okay, and the credentials is none, branch is master. And when do we want to do this Git job? Okay, I think we'll use the Git hook. What we want to do is I wanna restrict. So I only want it to be done in the staging. No. Okay, so I want it to restrict it to like it only runs on the staging, and we'll do it from that onwards. Okay, let's try and save it. Go back to dashboard, and you see we have a Git job over here. And you know what? Let's run it. So as you can see, we have started it. Here, and it says success, that it got the code from there on staging. Okay, so that works. So next, what we will need is that we'll need to install Docker on our servers. So I think this is the staging and this is the production server. So let's click that, and we'll need to install Docker. So the command is sudo atp apt get docker.io atp get install docker.io. Okay, I'm not very good at this. Okay, let's download that and sudo atp and we'll only need to do this on the staging and the production server, because we won't be installing our projects on the Jenkins server anyway. So only these two are the places where we need the Docker installed. Okay, well, I'm gonna pause it again, and when it's done I'll so remember we did. So next, let's create another project. Because we already have a project and we already have a Docker file in this project. So what it does is it just copies stuff on from there and runs a command. This command is in our package.json. So it basically runs the client and the server at the same times. Okay, another thing that we have to notice is, remember we did one like we did one a pull job get job, right? So try this. So in your staging server, because that's where we run the command on, you'll see there is another folder created. So let's cd into jar folder. Let's check what's inside. You can see the workspace. So let's check the workspace out, and you'll see a git job, and here you can see all the commands already there. So the program files from the GitHub are at this current working directory, right? And for those unfamiliar, you can check Ubuntu, check current working directory. So here you can also check the current, like you can check what's your current working directory. I think it's called echo. Check if this works. Yeah. So as you can see, this is the working directory, and this was the working directory we set in the jobs when we created this job, and we set this home/ubuntu/jenkins. So this is what it'll create, and whenever we run some commands, we'll know this is the path for our program. Okay, So keep that in mind. So let's create another job. We will call it new item. We'll call it build website. This is also a freestyle project. And this will be triggered not from like get. We'll restrict this. We will build the website and staging as well. Okay. Shell command after that, and the shell command will be a Docker command. We need to first like remove that particular container, and then build the Docker file that we have over here. So how we get it, let's check ls pwd. So we know that this is the path for the website. So we'll build this slash dot. So this will build the file slash docker, something like this. Run it again, and I had to add the slash d flag because I wanted to run it in a detached state so that we get a complete build faster. Okay, and while that's done, as you can see, we are closer to our motive. Okay, whether everything's fine and your application is running, you can go to the staging because that's where the application is supposed to be running at the moment. Copy the public URL and check the port that you ran it on. It says not found. That means the application is still running and it's still taking some time to build, right? Okay, and as you can see, your application is now been hosted on the AWS. Everything seems to be working fine. Okay, cool. The next and the last step would be to like make sure it's running whenever you commit something to your code. Okay, and to do that we'll need to configure something called as the next thing we'll need to do is setting up the webhooks. So let's check that out. So our website is still up. Yep, and it's called Jenkins webhook GitHub, right? And there's also a plugin for it which you can download. And like if you go to settings, manage Jenkins, and if you go to manage plugins available, you see there are a lot of plugins here. And the one you would need is the GitHub plugin. So it's like the GitHub hooks, but it says it's not safe and all that. So let's try it without any plugins. I already have like a few of them already installed. If you type in git, as you can see, I've got the Git plugin and the webhook generic plugin, right? So this is kind of the one we are gonna use and hope everything will work. So let's see how to set it up. Let's go back here and here. So here, as you can see, it says go to settings, add webhook. Seems simple enough. So if I go here, and this URL should be the same pattern. Also, you'll need to do this stuff. You'll need to add the content type to be application JSON. Okay, and leave the secret field empty. Pull. Let's check. Okay, and for the URL, actually, let me just show you the URL. It's kind of like this. It's this, but in here you can put in your own IP address. In our case, I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one IP address. It's HTTP, is it? So let's try. So it's trying to ping that, and it says successful, and that means everything was correct. And let's go and set that up in the get job we have created. Get job. Let's configure it. In here, once we are done the get job, we'll need to add a build. So build other projects, and the project name is build website. Save. So now let's try again. Okay, here's what we are gonna do. I'm gonna add a text on the top saying that this is the new version of this website. So let's do that. So I'm gonna check with fork. This is MERN app, right? MERN app. So let me check with teaching folder. Let's pull stash and local changes, conflict. Let's resolve. So this is, what file is it? Yarn lock. Oh, it doesn't really matter. So let's actually get this one. Okay. And get ignore. I'm gonna check lock, get add all. So in the client source app.js, here I'm gonna add a new like h1 heading telling this is the new version 1.0. Okay, let's get add all, get commit testing ci /u empty. Okay, I'm gonna push it to the master, right? Jenkins, see, now the git job has been triggered. Was it correctly done? Okay, it's done. Now it's building the website. As you can see, it's blinking. If this is done, let's check the logs. This one, let's check the output. Okay, Chokidar, it's asking me to update the stuff. We'll do it. Clear. Linking dependencies. So it's still building the project as of now. Well, if this succeeds, that means the application will successfully be on the staging place. Okay, it says success. This should say not found. But when it does eventually start, there should be a huge version, next version on there. So this not found can actually be switched by you as to like website under maintenance, like something like that, so that when you're actually using it, it won't be empty like this. So all this you can close now because it's kind of done. Terminate. Yep. And okay, see, as you can see, this is the new version and everything is working as it seems. Okay, cool. Last step, so to finish everything off, we'll need to like make a push job. So let's create a push job. Like, let's create a push job. Let's push prod job. It's a freestyle job. And what it will do is this should only be run on the production. Okay, and we'll also need to pull the repository from GitHub, right? Okay, and the build step would be the same one, so I'm gonna click enter, so this, and I'm gonna go copy that stuff from the build website. Job just one. Okay, so it's gonna be the same commands, right? So as you can see here in the production one, I checked it, pwd cd, and the path pwd is actually changed. It's this one, so we kind of need to like do it accordingly to this one. Okay, should be correct. I'm gonna run this job again. Let's see. Okay, it failed again. Okay, let's okay, I know what to do. I'm gonna docker run into Ubuntu. Okay, and let's try it again. Okay. Got this finished. We should be able to go to the production here, copy this, and we know this is gonna be working, right? And we should be able to get this as well. So right now it's gonna be refused to connect, and now it's not found. That means at least the file is there, and soon it should be running anytime now. Success, as it says. Let's close everything else. Let's close everything else. Anytime now. Okay, great, finally. Okay guys, that's it for our video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Have a nice day.